Greetings, Kings, from Bones Dedicated Alchemy Lab here today, and we have some shitty old ACU pouches that we're going to hopefully turn into less shitty, actually camouflaged ACU pouches. I've seen a lot of people do this with the sort of old school UCP camouflage digi-pattern pouches. You know, these are super cheap, a couple bucks at surplus stores, at gun shows, or online, but they don't blend in with anything except for gravel pits and grandma's couch. I've seen guys spray paint these, do all sorts of dyeing for these to make them blend in a lot better, and I decided that for my next kind of build I'm doing for a future video, we're gonna try our hand at dyeing these. So a lot of guys will use this RIT dye or spray paint. That's kind of the two methods I see the most. Hell, I don't know if I'll even publish this video, to be honest with you, but we're gonna try it. I thought it'd be fun to kind of do this together. So from my understanding, the way this works is you can have your ACU pouches, right? Here's one of the ones we're gonna be doing today. It's like a small medical pouch. I also have two basically new canteen pouches that I got for pretty cheap, and we are going to hopefully alter the color so they suck less. That's the goal. So my understanding is to dye these with this RIT dye, which I see a lot of people use. We went with chocolate brown. This was like $5 at Walmart. Hopefully we're gonna give these kind of a more tan look is the goal. From my understanding, when you do this, all you need is the RIT dye. They recommend white vinegar. This is, again, cheap, like $1.50 from Walmart for this whole thing. I'm probably never gonna use it for anything else, but a thing of white vinegar if it's nylon. If it's like cotton or stuff, I think they recommended salt, but we got vinegar. And then just a little bit of Dawn dish soap. So here's our setup, our alchemy lab. I got a set of gloves too, so I don't stain my hands. I have the kind of rinse off bowl, which we're gonna fill up with water when we're done dyeing these. And basically what they say to do is to bring your water up to a, just before boil. This is boiling just a little bit here. This probably isn't as much water as you should use. I've seen guys when they do it have really big tubs, but we're gonna try it. We're gonna try doing this with just this small cauldron that I have here. I hate reading instructions, so I'm just gonna go off of what the videos told me and what I saw online, and you guys are just gonna be along for the ride, okay? It's gonna be a great time. Here's our water. It's just about boiling. There's our pouches. Here's all of our stuff, our setup. And we've got the fan on, the window open, because I'm sure this is gonna smell great with this vinegar that we're about to get boiling. But from what I remember, they said to add like a cup of vinegar. That was to a pretty large solution. We're just gonna add as much as what seems like will work. And it also said a tiny bit of Dawn dish soap. So this is just a mix of dish soap I've had in my kitchen forever. It's like just 3 different dish soaps assimilated together into one, so cool. Yeah, that seems good. Perfect, the perfect mixing instrument here. Awesome. Next, I think it said, from what I remember, it said like a cup of vinegar. This is a small amount of water, so we're just gonna do a splash of it. I'm sure it smells great. That seems good. I like that amount. Do a little bit more. Yeah. I'm sure that's good. Add an amount of vinegar. Some people didn't even use it. Some people use salt anyway, so that's fine. The temperature seems like the most important thing. And we're gonna have to be careful because this is gonna displace a good bit of water. So we might have to do these one at a time, actually. We might actually drop just a little bit of this into the sink. Oh no, I'm going off camera. Where's he going, chat? Dump just a little bit of that so we have more displacement with the water. And then it's said to add like half of this entire container into a big like tub to do this dyeing. We're just gonna go for, oh, it's got like one of those sealers on it. We're probably just gonna add half of it to this. It's probably gonna be pretty strong. This stuff looks pretty thick, honestly. It kind of looks like a brownie batter, if you can kind of see that in there. I don't know. But we're gonna go until I think it's good. So, oh shit, we spilled a little. That's like almost half right there. It's pretty dark. We're gonna have an aisle cleanup real quick before I stain my alchemy station. All right, well that's in there now. We got our cauldron nice and hot, all of the ingredients in it. This looks pretty dark, and if this stuff comes out a bit darker than I would like, I guess that's fine, because it'll fade over time. This almost looks a little purpley.
Foreshadowing is a narrative device.
Okay, we'll set that there, and then from what I was told, you leave these sit for like 30 minutes. So we're gonna try our small medical pouch here first. We're gonna try this one and toss it in here and mix it and let it sit for like 30 minutes, and then we'll come back and see how it's looking. So in she goes. Okay, it likes to float. That's cool. Carefully push this in because it's gonna displace quite a bit of water. Yeah, okay. This does look kind of purpley. I don't know if that's a issue of the dye, if that's the soap I use. I mean, the soap's a little bit yellow, but too much vinegar. I don't know. We're about to find out though. Immediately it's looking darker, that's for sure. We're gonna just let that sit in there for a little while. Gonna mix it as much as I can. Try to make sure it's fully submerged. We could probably add a little bit more. And get back to mixing this thing. I'm not sure why it's looking purpley, unless that's just me and the lighting, but we'll kind of show what this looks like here in a little bit. But they say 30 minutes in here. I do want this to get pretty dark. So I guess after I take it out, it doesn't look nearly as purpley. So it's probably just the water. Once it dries and you rinse it off, it doesn't look too bad. But we're gonna let that sit for about 20-30 minutes. I'll turn the camera back on when, if we check in on it or depending on when we take it out. So I'm gonna fill up our water here for the rinse off and get to waiting. Been in here for just about 5 minutes or so, and it's looking pretty dark. Definitely it's like a concentrated mix, that's for sure. So we might take it out in the next couple minutes here. If you do this inside, keep some Simple Green and some paper towels nearby, because I had this Velcro come loose as I was trying to lift it, and it flung a dye all over my wall, and I got it cleaned up pretty quickly, but this stuff will dye paint and tabletops and stuff like that. But it's looking pretty good here. It's looking very dark. Honestly, I'm kind of liking how it looks. I'm worried I don't want it to get too terribly dark, but again, it's gonna fade. I could throw it in the wash, and I'm sure that would help kind of remove some of the darkness to it. But also, some of these light sections are still looking pretty light. I'm liking this color, so I think what we're gonna do now, since it's been in here for a little over 5 minutes, is we're going to, maybe like close to 10 now at this point. We're gonna take it out and give it a rinse and see what that looks like. Because this, as of right now, I'm trying to let the water drain out the drain port. It's looking pretty good, pretty dark, in all honesty. So I think we're gonna go ahead and see what it looks like after you rinse it off. All right, now the question is, how do I get this into there without making a massive mess? So I'm thinking we at least take it off the burner for a second and get these nice and close together. Lift. This is hot, but not quite burning me hot. Water draining out the bottom. Oh shit, we had a spill. That's all good. It's like coffee. That's what it looks like. I hear you can use coffee too, coffee grounds to do this. Let's see what we're looking like here. I'm gonna put that there. They recommend you do this outside, but I don't have a burner to go outside. Let's go ahead, we're gonna do some alchemy cleanup here. God, who knows if I'm gonna have this whole part of this video, the whole part of this in the video or not, we'll see. Put this back on the burner. Let's wring this out. Let's see how this looks. They say you do this, like let it sit for a couple minutes too, kind of wring out the excess dye. It's definitely looking dark. Honestly, the other ones will probably come out a little less dark because there's less dye in it now. Yeah, okay. I mean, it's definitely dark for sure, but it's better than it was before. The front panel's really dark, but the rest of it isn't too bad. That was the panel that was facing downwards in it. Super cool. Wring that out a little. Actually, we'll let this kind of just sit in this water for a few minutes while we put the next piece in. Okay, we got the next piece, our canteen pouch. In you go, in the slop, and we'll start. This one's definitely a lot lighter to begin with, so totally fine if it comes out a bit darker. But let's not immediately be like, why isn't it turning brown, and add a bunch of dye to it. It's a little bit of a purpley look to it. Looks like a reddish dye in a way. It dyed the metal too a lot, which is cool. It dyed kind of the or this plastic, you know, the teeth of the zipper. So dyed that as well. Set it to dry, which I didn't have a good place to do that. So we have some paper towels over here on the left on the other side of this bowl. So yeah, that's not looking too bad. Looking a little red, to be honest, but not the worst. I'm sure you add some dirt to this, it'd blend right in. All right, pouch 1 done. It even got this. This is not look. This looks really brown actually. This took it probably the best. This is not. The strap here is not gray. It is brown. Right here to dry. Now for our canteen pouch here. It's definitely not looking as dark as quickly. That's for sure. So we'll let this guy sit in here for a while. Let me let everything soak in. Give him probably like an actual 20-minute bath in this. All right, so we've got our canteen pouch in here. It's been in for about 10 minutes as well. It's looking pretty good. I'm gonna take it out now because I don't want it to get too dark. I think this medical pouch we did got a little dark on me because we had too much dye in the mix. It's all about learning, right? So what I did do though is I went outside, I took this and I just ran it through a bunch of dirt to kind of even out the color because it was looking a little purpley, a little red. And then I mixed it back into the wash-off bowl, and there's now a little bit of dirt in there as well, which will hopefully even out some of these colors. But honestly, this guy, this canteen pouch, is looking pretty good to me. It's still kind of, you know, there's a variance in the white in it, so we're gonna leave it in here for just a little bit longer. I'm gonna mix it for about another minute, and we're gonna take it out and dunk it in the wash-off. I also went with brown because I saw a lot of guys do green for these, and green looked really bright to me, at least when I saw it in videos, so I wanted to go with something a little darker like the brown, and it matches the base of the chest rig, which if you're still watching this, you will see very soon. It's not looking too bad. Honestly, this came out a bit better. It's a little bit lighter. There's still a little bit of the red to it. But we're gonna let these sit in the sun to dry too, so hopefully that kind of fades them a bit and evens out the color. Oh my goodness. But that doesn't look bad at all. It looks like a brown pouch. It really did the plastic very well. I'm kind of surprised. It's the fabric, it's doing well for the fabric, but like all these solid colors, these buckles and stuff look like they came from the factory brown. That's very impressive in all honesty. OEM brown right there. So very impressed. We're gonna go ahead and kind of swing this out. And put it right on top of the other pouch here and hit our last one, which is our last canteen pouch right here. It's going in the soup. Well, the camera cut out. That's lovely of it. But we have our last canteen pouch in here. Looking over here at what this stuff looks like now as it dries. Like I said, the buckles turned out really well so far. The fabric itself still has a little bit of like a slight red, slight purpley tinge, but I imagine that's gonna fade. It's looking a lot more brown. So I think that it is mission successful so far, and will probably look good when it's all nice and sun-dried. So here we have the still wet, freshly dyed pouches. You can see, I'm not sure if it shows up very well. It's a little bit reddish, almost like a violet-y type color. But we're gonna let these air dry out pretty much all day in the sun. I'm going to, last thing I'm gonna do is sprinkle just like a dusting of dirt on them, just to kind of give them a more natural color. And we'll come back tonight or tomorrow morning to check on these. Welcome to Bones' torture chamber, in which I torture myself to get more fit and torture these pouches that did not turn out very well. The lighting in here sucks because we are going to interrogate these into being good pouches, but they did not turn out very well. The red dye, excuse me, that's what I feel like it is. The brown dye really turned out very rust red. I'll show some pictures of what that kind of looks like here. But it did not turn out very well. This one just came out very dark, in all honesty. This was the first one I dyed. And then the third one, this one probably came out the least bad, but it is just very red. And I tried to touch it up with some peacock green. Some guy said that kind of made it look like an OD color, but it did not. It just made it darker. So we're gonna touch this up with some spray paint here. Hopefully get these to actually look not horrible, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna touch this up. I think I'm gonna use a base of tan because that's what the chest rig this is going on. So we are using just this Rust-Oleum, so you can see, yeah, Rust-Oleum camouflage here, camouflage paint. So we're gonna do tan for the base layer, I think. We're just gonna try to touch this up, make it look less horrible, and then we're gonna put some light green on it. So this lighting probably gonna be awful because I'm gonna stand where the light's coming from, but hopefully you guys can kind of see this okay. Because I'm fine with these paints blending a little. It's got a nice sandy look to it at this point. We're gonna do now some of this in a foliage green. This is flat army green. Oh, how fitting. So this is how the pouches ended up turning out. And I knew that they were gonna go on this FDE flick that I'm wearing here. Super bass, amazing GWAT vibes. This was going to be the base for them, and I wanted something that was going to complement this chest rig very well as blend into my environment. I knew it's gonna be turning fall here soon, and I'm in a generally forested area, so I wanted something that would blend into that and also not contrast a crazy amount from this flick. Starting off with that brown, that chocolate brown RIT dye, that looked like ass. That really did not turn out very well. I don't know if that was on me, if that was just the wrong dye choice. It's what they had at Walmart, so I was like, oh, I'm sure that'll be fine. It did not turn out super well. I tried to hit it with that peacock green. I see a lot of guys online have used the peacock green dye as their base, and it turns out pretty bright, but not super terrible. I've seen guys dye rucks and stuff. I'll throw some pictures up of what that looks like. And it turns out pretty well, but I wanted something that would kind of blend a bit better with this flat, dark earth chest rig. The rig itself, you'll see in a future video. This is a part of another project, but I hit it with that peacock dye from RIT, and it really just kind of made it gray. It made it like a sort of grayish green. It didn't turn out very well, and I figured it was time to cut my losses with the dye. Maybe if I started with that green, I would like it more. I heard GWAT Alchemist, super bass dude on YouTube, very smart guy, a lot of experience there, say that dark brown RIT dye, which usually you have to order online, but that's a really good one to use for ACU pouches to get it looking like flat dark earth. But I, wasn't gonna dye it for a third time. It was already too late for that, so I opted to spray paint it. So I grabbed that very basic, Rust-Oleum camo paint from Walmart that everybody uses to paint their rifles and uses to paint these pouches. And I just gave it a nice base of tan and then went over it with the light foliage green. And I think it turned out quite well. This really breaks up the silhouette of the overall chest rig. It blends into my area quite well. And as you can see, I kind of have a mix of what this is blending in with. We've got, of course, flat dark earth. We've got kind of an off flat dark earth here for the canteen pouch, normal multicam for this M4 mag pouch, as well as more FDE over on this side. So you can kind of judge for yourself. I think it turned out pretty decently well. I'll probably throw up some pictures of what the pouches look like alone, as well as maybe some footage of me walking through the woods. You can kind of see how this works in conjunction with this chest rig. But ultimately, I think that dyeing it, you do run a little bit of a gamble with what you're gonna get. How you apply the dye may take a few times to get it right. But do your research. I think it's very valid to, after it's all said and done, what are my thoughts on, is the RIT dye better? Is spray paint better? Ultimately, I think they're both valid. I was very unsure. I'm like, is it really worth it to try to repurpose ACU why not just buy multicam, flat dark earth, M81, whatever it is that, you know, blends into your environment the best. But in all honesty, the RIT dye and the things you need to dye ACU pouches is less than $10, honestly around $5 from your local Walmart or ordering it online. And you can dye an entire chest rig. Like, I could dye everything on this kit right now with that dye set and have it all good to go for far less than it would be to try to find all of this in multicam or some other camouflage pattern. Same goes for spray painting it. A single can of spray paint, the Rust-Oleum camo, is like between $5 and $10. Two of those, you know, you're looking at 10 to 20 bucks, if that. Will definitely cover more than just a chest rig. You could probably get a chest rig, a backpack, and a rook out of 2 cans of spray paint. And that's gonna be far cheaper than buying those items in multicam or whatever camouflage you're looking at. I was a little skeptical at first, but I think honestly, completely valid to do this. It saves you a lot of money. It's a fun little, you know, tactical arts and crafts you can do, and it really does work very well, especially if you have a local surplus store, find some deals. I've seen people selling an entire rifleman's flick that's an ACU, basically brand new, for like 40 bucks, 40 to 70 bucks online, and that is all the pouches and normally a camel pack that comes with it. And if you were to try to assemble that with whatever camo you're gonna use, it would cost you way more. So super based, stay lethally poor, kings. This was a super fun video to make, very impromptu. Hopefully it's not complete or dog shit. And I thank you all for watching. Like I said, hopefully this video comes out pretty well. It's something that I really wasn't sure if I was gonna do, but then as this project that these pouches are a part of continued to go on, I decided, why not? Let's throw my hat in the ring and give my thoughts on how I think the dyeing and the repurposing and refurbishing of old ACU pouches works for a prepared citizen on a budget. And if you want more of the tactical arts and crafts, hop down in the video description or the channel description, join the Discord. It is absolutely free 99, no charge at all. Link up with other lethally poor homies who are painting their kit and doing other things to increase their capabilities as a prepared citizen. If you like the video, hit the like button, kings. Do all the YouTube things. Subscribe if you want to see more. We've got more videos coming up here soon. And of course, we can't forget the self-shill of Patreon and Subscribestar. Absolutely unnecessary, but if you want to fund the autism in a way that goes above and beyond what anybody should do with their financial portfolio, then they're there. They're in the channel in the video description. Again, guys, thank you for watching. I hope this video was somewhat useful for all of you. Keep your heads held high. Bones out.